Now, another important term in geometry that we need to consider is the term secant line or secant line. Well, whichever you're dealing with, whether you are American or English, some tend to pronounce it as secant while the others secant. Now, a secant line is a line that intersect, or another word for intersect is cut a curve twice. The word secant is a Latin word that means to cut. Now here I have my compass, and let's just show you what we're dealing with, because I believe the examples may bring out the whole concept a lot clearer. Okay, now let me change my color. Okay, so let me just pull down the screen a bit so we can get a little bit more space to work with. All right, now let's say, what's this? Let's just remove that quickly. Okay, good. Now let's say we had a curve, a circle rather. All right, let's finish our circle. Yes, so I have a circle, and then going through my circle I have, for example, a ray, right? Or let me use a line. Let me change the color of this line. I think I'm going to use a blue line. All right, so let's say I had a line passing through, a line segment rather, passing through my circle like that. Okay, now this line segment would cut the circle twice. All right, it would cut it here, right there, and it would cut it right there. Now let's give the names of the points. Okay, let's say that's A and that is B. Okay, now what has happened here is that this line segment AB is called a secant, okay, because it cuts the curve twice. It passes through the circle. All right, other examples, let's just pull over this a bit. All right, to get a little bit more space to work with. All right, so let's leave that right there. Another example of a secant, and let's just look at this quickly. Let me just pull up some stuff here. Okay, other examples of a secant. Let's say I had a curve looking like this. All right, let's say I had a curve like that, and I have now, let me use a nice color. Let me change the color of this to a green, and let's say I had a line cutting my curve twice like that, and let's give this a name. Let's say the line cut the curve at this point here, this blue point, and let's call that X, that point X, and it cuts it here also, and let's call that point Y. So we call the line XY a secant to the curve because it cuts the curve in two places, okay, two different places. All right, good. Now before we close, a very important note about a secant is that the secant AB, or line segment AB, passes, it started outside of the circle and it passes through the circle, cutting it twice, and then it stopped outside of the circle out here. Okay, and in our second example, or secant XY, it started outside the curve and it passes through the curve, cutting it twice, and ends outside of the curve up here. Okay, so those are just two critical things. That's just an important point rather to note about a secant. Bye bye.